we did get the donation incentive for the completely destroyed run of Mega Man. We'll do that directly following Ikaruga.
It's just from your laptop for this?
Yes.
So yeah, just 4x3. Actually, what is the aspect ratio on Ikaruga? Is it like 4x3?
4x3-ish. I'm going to advance forward so we get the right aspect ratio here. Let's see.
So it's 4x3.
Yeah, it's 4x3. Okay, we'll start at the beginning. All right, are we ready to go for Ikaruga? I'll mute that. All right. So I'm not even going to try to get the we'll just start the timer down when the game gets to the start screen, I guess. I'll just do the best I can. Yes, HD.
While we finish getting set up, I'm going to sneak in one quick donation. We have $50 from Unexpected, who says, been watching all week and just want to say thanks to all the runners and especially the crew who set up the event. Enjoying the task block so far and can't wait to see more. Thank you very much for your donation.
While they're getting audio set up, I want to note real quick that the setup we did for Sonic Advance was rather convoluted. We connected the GameCube to a Raspberry Pi over a USB cable that's basically using a serial adapter. The Raspberry Pi is connected to my phone, which is tethered with USB networking, and then I've got a Bluetooth keyboard connected to my phone so that I can see what's going on to start the script to start the console verification. So it's a little bit more messy than I was expecting, but it worked out really well.
Can you advance to like a position a little bit in the file so we can see what it looks like? Okay. We need to
I've seen this intro so many times.
And I'm going to pause it on the screen right quick so we can get it lined up.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out because I played Ikaruga a lot when I was in high school, and I tried my hardest to get on the leaderboards that were up at the time. And if it weren't for Ikaruga, I wouldn't be on this couch right now because I eventually discovered the speedrunning community through becoming a hardcore gamer because of Ikaruga. So I got to give a shout out to all the old Ikaruga players I used to hang out with too.
All right, so we're going to start at the beginning. Yep, run this all the way back here. So this was encoded by Actan, who also encoded the Sonic Advance run. We're doing a video playback for a very, hang on. Start that about there. Yeah, we should probably, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. It's going to take the exact same amount of time.
Yeah, this game is a shoot 'em up, often called a shmup for short. I maintain that it's actually a puzzle game in disguise, but we'll talk about that when the run starts. So we don't really need a timer. The only way you can gain time is destroying the bosses faster. Okay, so this is a two-player task, meaning they play as both players at once, and they recorded input for both of them. So I'll talk about Ikaruga itself a little bit here. This is a treasure game that has been ported a few times. The GameCube was the third port ever made. And it was also the first one to not have any lag, so the musical stings should sync up correctly, in my opinion. Some Dreamcast and arcade purists will say the music is correct in the laggy versions, but... So first thing I'll talk about is their chain bonus that they have there. When you destroy 3 enemies of the same color consecutively, you'll get this chain bonus, where now they're getting 25,600 each time. It starts at 100, then 200, 400, etc. on powers of 2. Okay, and what they're doing there is they're releasing their absorbed energy. You see how there's a shield of one color around each ship. So with the shield, you can absorb bullets of the same color, and it's filling up those meters on the side. You can press a button and release all of those at once as homing missiles. Where they go is a little bit hard to control. They generally aim for enemies of the same color and whatever's nearby. They hesitated a little bit there because they're trying to absorb some bullets. Bullets only give 100 points each, but that's how you get as many points as possible. They're also playing on hard difficulty. There's 3 difficulties in the game. In easy mode, enemies don't fire any suicide bullets, as they're often called. On normal, only enemies of the same color will fire suicide bullets. On hard, every enemy will shoot suicide bullets, although if you destroy opposite color, they'll fire half as many and at a slower speed, so they'll be easier to dodge. The Ikaruga, the player 1 craft there, just absorbed a bit of a big laser from that large enemy there. So now both of them have full energy for these tank or train-looking enemies. I'm just going to soak up a few bullets first for points. I feel like I've missed a lot of things to talk about here. Usually when you destroy things quickly in this game, you get bonus ships. Oh, that was some really clutch dodging. So yeah, here they should get 6 rows, and they also release their energy at the same time there so that they don't release too much when trying to chain all these ships. And yeah, see, they're releasing all the time so they don't release too much at once. And they just changed 6 rows perfectly there. So you can see their combined score is already 3.7 million. I think the most you can get by yourself is around 3.3 or 3.6. I kind of forget, actually. It's been a while since I played this game. The quicker you destroy bosses, you'll get a faster boss destroy bonus as well. So with 2 players, you can work together to destroy them extra quickly. And it's also very important because both players will get the boss destroy bonus. So normally you get 10,000 points per cycle, but I guess it's worth 20,000 per second remaining. So 81 is a really good time. Also probably did some luck manipulation for those little fletchets that the boss threw out that blew up in a ring of bullets. Those were absorbed pretty well, finished before they were even done cycling. So I think they're going to get over 5 million here combined. Yeah, they got 5.3 million combined score. S++ is the highest rank you can get in each level. You can definitely get it by yourself, and not by a task, but it's still very impressive. So here comes Chapter 2. Has a little bit of a city scene here. So I actually didn't know this task was on hard mode the first time I saw it because they destroy almost every enemy with the same color to try to get as many suicide bullets absorbed as possible. And here they're also soaking up all the shots and covering each other. You can change polarity in this game, as we've seen quite a bit, but you can't shoot while changing polarity, and you might have a small window of vulnerability. I think that was our first opposite destroyed colored enemy back there. I think the player 2 craft, the Genkai, fired a laser that hit them back there. All right, so here we're going downstairs, and here we're going to see just how tiny the hitboxes are on these crafts. I guess you technically have 2 hitboxes in this game because you have the shield around the outside of the ship, but your actual vulnerable hitbox where you can be destroyed if a bullet of the opposite color hits you is a very narrow slit. You can actually play this game Dot Eater style, which is a pacifist kind of playthrough where you can beat every level without firing a shot, and you just have to survive every boss until they just get bored and leave. Then you get 0 points for your boss destroy bonus. So you can squeeze through all these boxes. You can squeeze in between them. That's how narrow your hitbox is in this game. So red things in this game are indestructible, generally. Everything else is either white or black. Really good bullet eating there.
Absolutely perfect bullet eating.
Yeah, it's amazing to see here. Really good bullet eating right there as well. Usually the suicide bullets will just fly into that gate that opens and you won't be able to absorb many of them.
So it shouldn't be underemphasized exactly how difficult this game is, because if you get hit even once, you're completely dead. You start over until you run out of lives, and then you have to continue. But I had to turn on Infinite Continues mode the first time I played through it because I could not beat this game.
Yeah, this game is notoriously hard. Maddox wrote a rather famous review that I'm probably not allowed to talk about on stage.
It's best if you don't utter those words.
Yeah. I did play this game quite a bit, and it's very frustrating. It looks like a very frantic shmup, but because you have to chain so well, it's actually more like a puzzle game. You have to practice these muscle memory routines, and if you die, you also break your chain bonus. The game also doesn't loop like most shooters do. You just go through 5 chapters and then it's over. So there's an upper limit on how many points you can possibly get in a single playthrough. It's been estimated at 36.1 million for a single player. I think the highest recorded replay was, well, I know Wiz got something like 35.7 million on the Ikaruga Appreciate DVD. I think someone did better, but it's been so long, I don't remember. The current releases of this game on Steam and Xbox Live actually changed the game slightly. The only differences I know of for sure are in Chapter 3 and Chapter 5, and I'll talk about those when we get there. So the Ikaruga's down there chaining these generators while the Genkai goes up there. For those, good release to take out the generators at the very end too.
Would you mind talking a little bit about the real-time running community that is still involved with Ikaruga so many years after its release?
I'm actually not sure what's left. I know people showed me screenshots of the leaderboards, and I can't remember what the best scores are. I know I had world record on Chapter 5 normal arcade for about 7 months, but then somebody beat it. I always wanted to get 5.9 million, but I never did it. I don't think you can't get a score that high by yourself on normal anymore, by the way, because of what they changed in Chapter 5. Okay, so this boss, you see some red shields outside of these cores. You have to shoot them with the same color, and then go in there and start damaging them with the opposite color. So here they're going to take turns pulling out and keeping the shields open a little bit longer. They're going to get really close to dying here because, well, in a task you can get pixel perfect like that. 88 is an amazing time for the Chapter 2 boss. This game has a trial mode where you can play just the first 2 levels and you'll have infinite lives in Chapter 1. So I imagine a lot of people probably haven't seen anything past Chapter 2, and the game only gets more ridiculous from here.
So this particular task doesn't skip over the title screens. You'll also note that the battle report is off to the side. That's an emulation bug in Dolphin, the emulator that was used to create this run. So that's not supposed to be that way. Wouldn't be on a normal console, and it's one of the things that, like everything else, you want to improve to make it perfect. But it doesn't have any impact on
gameplay.
Yeah, on gameplay. Just a graphical glitch.
Yeah. We weren't able to console verify this because, well, Ikaruga is on a disc on optical media, and sometimes access times are a little bit longer, so the replay can desync. Maybe if we get a virtual console release or something like that, maybe it'll be console verified, but I was talking to Uznair about that earlier, and it seems like that might be unlikely. This replay also wouldn't work because of the changes made to Chapter 3 and Chapter 5.
Yeah, the entire movie would have to be remade. And I know that keylie put in a lot of work. I don't actually know how to pronounce the name, but put a lot of work into this run. On tasbot.org, we rate movies by how technically difficult they are and how entertaining they are. And this movie is consistently rated as being technically impressive and incredibly fun to watch.
Incredibly optimized,
yeah,
too.
it's very, very well done. So it's listed as one of the stars on the site, one of the best movies.
I didn't know you could get 5 bonus chains after that.
Apparently you can.
Yeah, I guess they took out that ring of orbs at the start as fast as possible.
Let me know when you have time for a quick donation.
Probably here, actually. This section's pretty simple.
I have a donation from TGS who donated $500, and he says, Ikaruga, this game took up the better half of a year of my life. Shout out to the Ikaruga.co.uk crew. RJ Page UK, CVM, Shiner, Plasmo, DR, Ian, and the rest.
Nice.
Oh, wow. I remember all of those names. I remember Plasmo found my stream one day, too. Man, I miss all those guys. Good work there. I was going to talk about some planes that you might have barely caught a glimpse of in the previous section. That was like the bonus section. Most people would not be able to react in time and get that close to them, but in a task you can just destroy them all at the top of the screen. And here are the famous up-down ships, as Dr. Ian used to call them. Here the Ikaruga is chaining all the black ones at the bottom. And going in with 2 extra black and 2 extra white, there's a lane of 10 ships of each color coming up. So 9 plus 1 adds up to 10. So with the extra 2, they actually do get 1 extra chain here by just swapping back and forth like this. And not getting wrecked by the suicide bullets of the same color. Very well done. Here they're going to take turns destroying the orbs of the same color here. And also, here's some crafty bullet eating from the Genkai. I didn't know you could go that far forward. So this little enemy here looks kind of like a scorpion is called Shiki. All the enemies in this game are named after birds, and they're Japanese names. I'm not sure what a Shiki is, but in the new versions of the game, the orbs spin the other way, and that's the only change they made to Shiki. So here's the famous bonus ships, or bonus orbs of Chapter 3. When you shoot one, they split into 2, and there was a very fancy algorithm of sorts to do them, where you could do all the black ones, and then if you did it correctly, you could do exactly the same thing with all the white ones. But here they're just getting really fancy and absorbing all the bullets of the same color and using well-timed single shots to split them up. And wow, look at all this movement. Just moving around even though there's suicide bullets with the opposite color, no big deal. So I can't remember what this boss is called, but it's basically this merry-go-round of turrets that shoot inside for some reason.
It's a merry-go-round of death.
Yeah. Usually the strategy is to destroy all the turrets of one color, and when half of them are destroyed, we're going to see some big lasers turn on. But here they're just going to weave in these middle bullets, and the barriers in the middle do spin around, and they can take you out. But no big deal. The task just gets 93, a time I never would have thought was possible, even with 2 players.
That thing is so much more brutal than it looks.
Yeah. They got over 10 million points combined here, which I don't think any human team has come close to. CVM mentioned in that donation comment was he did a 2-player run by visiting someone else in Europe, and they had some pretty good replays. But this is the power of tool-assisted runs right here. All right, coming up is Chapter 4, probably the hardest chapter in the game for having a very long and drawn-out battle with a satellite or battle station of some kind that we can see in the background already, which is called the Misago. I'm not sure what kind of bird a Misago is either. I think it was an eagle or something.
So I always had that other bird look more like some kind of shark head mounted on some bizarre form of torture device, but
Yeah, I know Ikaruga means spotted dove, but I have no idea what a Ginkei is. Anyway, so it looks pretty unassuming right now. Just letting these things live a little bit longer so they can fire one free bullet to absorb, and here comes a really pretty screensaver. It looks really dazzling, but it's actually pretty easy to just play. The black bullets allow you to move clockwise, and the white bullets allow you to move counterclockwise. But the TAS is able to squeeze in between these bullets, like the Ikaruga just did there. Even though it was black, it squeezed through a stream of white bullets. Yeah, Ikaruga releasing their energy early on purpose here, so that they don't release too much at once. Here come the outside chains. Usually, in one player, you have to sort of go below them and then shoot upwards. Two-player strategies I've seen where one person stays on the outside and mostly hits all the outside, but here they're just doing some crazy small release energies to. And they're just tracking perfectly. Normally this would be incredibly risky, not just because it was probably going to break your chain, but it's also going to unleash some dangerous suicide bullets, especially on hard difficulty. But here they're just doing a great job of absorbing them. And yeah, looks like the Ikaruga is going to go in with one extra black ship, and I think the Genki will have one extra white. Oh, two extra white. So there's actually an odd number of bonus ships on the outside, and it's actually going to work out perfectly with the chain bonus. I think Treasure planned this all along. I wonder if they knew a tool-assisted run was going to be made all this time. And yeah, Ikaruga are releasing all their energy on purpose again. Just it's kind of a tradition in Chapter 4. In single player, you would have done that, but it always just looks pretty to see that salvo of energy release out to either side with no targets. I'm just too baffled by how amazing this TAS is, so you can get in another donation comment.
I do have a $400 donation from Mike244 who simply says, Wondershot hype. We also have a $150 donation from Jazzy G. Says, first time watching this event, you lot are amazing. Can't wait for the Chrono 100%. Loving the Game Boy player. Forget fusion, kill the animals.
Okay, so the Misago has two mini bosses before the actual boss. And the first one, some turrets come out, and they alternate white, black, alternating. But somehow the TAS just mashed release energy and got them all without breaking chain bonus. And you also saw they got as close as they could to the collision box of the ring there, and stuck their shield as far inside it as possible to absorb as much of that lightning as possible. So here are some eyeball turrets start coming out of either side, and they shoot twice as fast on hard here. And they're going to take turns covering each other without ever changing polarity. And if they can bump into each other and destroy them, so that's a common way to lose your chain bonus here. They're waiting as long as possible before destroying them, so these eyeball turrets can shoot as many bullets as possible and absorb them all for points. They're using single shots, which looks like it's half damage, like it's only one shot at a time, but unlike the sustained fire that fires a twin laser, the single shot is actually two bullets stacked on top of each other, so it's equally strong. With good auto-fire style mashing, you can do as much damage. And that was some good bullet absorption too. They also let the boss live as long as possible, in the last possible frame of 30 on the timer, so they can absorb as many bullets as possible again. This is not so much a speed TAS as a score TAS, obviously, and that's how most shmup TASes are made.
yeah, this is the specific goal for this run isn't at any percent. It's a highest points.
Yeah, I think they showed the
Max
Gradius
score.
play around TAS at AGDQ one year, right?
I tried.
I thought a Delicat showed that. No, not a Delicat. Who showed
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
That was
Cool.
me. We might remember at AGDQ 2014, we had the evil cart, I now call it. The metal cart that acted like a gigantic RF antenna. And if you look at it, and then look at a UHF antenna, it kind of looks the same. So it's no surprise we had trouble with it. But we did have a desync running back, or playing back Gradius at AGDQ 2014. Maybe we'll get a chance to show that again at some point. But
So that was
it's very similar to this.
That was the fight with the Misago core. That was really good, actually. It has these alternating doors of white, black, white. Is there one more black door? I think there is. And then the core itself is white. Once the core is exposed, it'll shoot a white laser through any open doors, if possible, but they got in there on the side entrance. They also shot that gate at the front at the very start because hitting things with your gun does give you a small amount of points. They also did some of that to the Chapter 1 boss as well. So here they're doing single shots because they don't want to shoot too far down because that will make the spray of suicide bullets fan too far out to either side. They just want it all up close so it's easier to absorb. They can absorb the stray shots from these fighters before they're taken out as well. On this level, they're able to take advantage of the way the chain bonus increments a little bit. You see the Ikaruga only has 4 chains. Like I said, your chain bonus goes 100, 200, 400. Here, most of the enemies in Chapter 5 are white, so they're able to give almost all of the chains to the Genkai, so they can avoid the points lost for building 2 separate craft up to the maximum chain bonus. So these big ships here, which I remember are called Shugembos, I think, they explode into 11 orbs like this. So you get 4 chains from each one. You can get so close to them that your homing lasers just don't even like go around to the side and then track in. They just instantly hit the boss in the face, or the boss, the Shogembos. In the newer releases, they changed the collision box so that you cannot fly that close to the Shugembos. If you try to copy the same replay file to the Xbox Live or Steam versions, your craft will just blow up. So you can't get 118 chains solo anymore. You might still be able to get 122 on hard, I'm not sure. They managed to get 126, I think. No, they get more than 126. We'll see what it is at the end.
This is so hard.
Yeah, the laser grid. The random bullets flying out of the top there's twice as many on hard. So great job dodging those. These are the famous snakes. Lots of work was done to try to optimize these. Luckily, they're not so bad in 2-player. They wanted to save all the built-up energy from the laser grid to get through the snakes phase as fast as possible. So here's the third and final phase. This is Emperor Horai, who fires a big wave of white bullets from the ears, as we called them, then calls in 2 satellites to shoot a flurry of bullets all the time, while also alternating firing homing missiles of his own at you. So what you're supposed to do is change polarity, release, then change polarity and release, and just kind of this back and forth laser release battle. But here they're just taking advantage of the same homing mechanic, where they will generally home in on the closest thing. So they're just moving around and covering each other's shots while also collecting as many of these side guns as possible. And around 60 on the timer, Horai starts releasing what we used to call ear waves, where there'd be 3 waves of round bullets that travel slowly on normal, but on hard, the volleys are twice as fast. This guy's also shooting way faster than he would on normal. This is very, very hard to survive on hard. You also get more points for just absorbing the whole thing, because each of these homing lasers gives you a full block of energy, so 10 bullets or 1,000 points. So every second you survive is 12,000 points instead of the 10,000 you would get for the boss destroy bonus. Remember, in 2-player mode, you get each player gets the boss destroy bonus, so you have to compete with 20,000, but they're absorbing these earwaves back and forth by moving the shield inside Horai's ears. Like, this looks really easy, but they're actually reducing the amount of bullets on screen by a ridiculous amount by moving around in this way. Like, look how fast their score is going up from absorbing all the earwaves and taking all these lasers. And they got to destroy this guy with 1 second left, because I remember it said if the timer goes down to 0, the boss will... Well, actually, this guy still blows up for plot reasons, I guess, but you'll get 0 for the boss destroy bonus, so... With that great bullet eating, they actually compete with the 20,000 per second that you get in 2-player. And that's 8.8 million. Like I said, I had 5.8 million with my short-lived world record. And they got 131 chains, which is more than I would have expected for hard. I think there's actually a few stray enemies on Chapter 5. I remember in 2-player when I was practicing it with my friend Taibo, there was an inconsistent amount. Like, sometimes we had 1 extra white enemy, and sometimes we had 2, I think. Anyway, in this final phase, you can't fire. This object is called the Stone-like. It just releases all this crazy amount of power. This is how Emperor Horai became so powerful in the story. But here they're sticking their shields as far inside as possible to collect a whole bunch of energy. There should be 6 lightning bolts on screen right now, and they're absorbing most of them while also dodging these homing darts. If you look at the round bullets at the bottom, you can see what you're sort of supposed to do is like absorb the rapid black bullets and then switch to white and move forward and switch a lot. But no, they're just staying as close as possible and covering each other again. There's no way this would be possible with people. No way you could react to this in time. And a similar thing here, where the black bullets are moving clockwise and the white bullets counterclockwise, and you're going to see at the end there'll be what it's sort of supposed to look like. Yeah, see how the white bullets like line up, and that's sort of your chance to push forward while also dodging this lightning. Nope, they're just soaking up as much of it as possible. We're almost at the end. We're going to see the remain bonus. The amount of extra lives you get will give you more points. We can see their combined score over there, just over 50 million. Just completely ridiculous. I love this task. It's so good.
So what's going on here?
Yeah, according to the plot, the ship basically tells them that in order to destroy this thing, you'll have to release the unusual amount of energy you've absorbed and release the restrain device and unleash it all to maybe destroy this object that has allowed an emperor to rise to power. So,
well, I think these 50 million worth of energy is
pretty much. So these pilots who basically were, they fought against Emperor Horai and were shot down and crashed in a village, and they use this crash fighter plane to make this prototype, the Ikaruga, that can change polarity to maybe turn the tide of the war. So this resistance force goes in there, and they're really, really mad, and they go in and take down Horai. A pretty usual shmup plot. So as determined as they are, they decide, all right, let's release all the energy. And you can see that they have a sort of poetic ending where they blow up right before they see the Stone Lake die.
And that was Ikaruga. So I'm going to actually keep Shiner CC. First of all, thank you for fantastic commentary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
So we did get the donation incentive was met for the glitched run of Final Fantasy. I'm sorry, Final Fantasy. What am I talking
Mega
about?
Man 1, right?
Yeah. We wanted to do Final Fantasy. That's a long game. We'll get to that. So this is going to be a short one. We'll just leave it at that. All right.
Is there a new task that's doing Geyer's route, the new stairs percent in Final Fantasy 1?
We'll get to that.
Ooh. So yeah, I thought there was a faster task, but it's been a while since I've seen the Mega Man 1 tasks. The first one we saw was really good, but this one is even faster, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is, well, going back to Mega Man really quick. So you might remember we did this setup earlier. Looked a little bit different with the first time through. Now, what happened at this point was we called the end of stage, where it just ended that particular level. But here,
we're just going to go straight to the credits.
Might as well. And with that, I would like to announce, everybody, anybody at home, anybody here, anybody who wants to participate, you can go to tasvideos.org and participate in a speed tasing competition. We've given you a good idea of what it's like to do a tool-assisted speedrun, the kind of frame advance techniques you can use to complete a game perfectly. Speed tasing is kind of like what happens when a grandmaster playing chess goes to a speed chess match. Instead of having an infinite amount of time, he has a small amount of time to do the best he possibly can. That's what the speed task competition is all about. You have 4 hours, roughly, depending on how long the marathon goes, to the beginning of the Super Metroid block. As soon as Super Metroid block starts, the competition will be ended. Your job is to go download the game available at tasvideos.org. Hopefully that it'll be up on the site and we haven't completely crashed it, as Twitches want to do. Go download the game there. I'll tell you what it is in a second. And you will have 4 hours to beat the game. The winning condition is reaching a screen called The End. Wow. So what you need to do is download the game, use BizHawk or FCEUX emulators for the Nintendo Entertainment System. They are both viable emulators that are very accurate. Basically, you're going to play through as fast as you can to beat the game, submit a movie file, and the winner will have their video played back with the author comments from the video file directly following Super Metroid. So, here's the game. Go to tasvideos.org and download Streamers. Streamers is a fantastic game. You need to play the game in Streamers mode. As Dr. Trey, it is exactly like playing VVVVVV. There's a polarity mechanic where you change your polarity from being on the ceiling to being on the ground. You should be able to play through the game with tool-assisted techniques for the very first time in about half an hour. I recommend playing through the game, figuring out what the mechanics are like, and then back up and go back through the game and do it as perfectly as you can with the amount of time you have. The whole game should be, after you have done it with the tool-assisted techniques, should be less than 6 minutes long. So, Streamers in Streamers mode with Dr. Trey, VVVVVV polarity, changes, go for it. And that's the end of the TASBot block.
Thank you one more time to the TASBot crew, including Dwango AC and all the people who helped him commentate, Cleartonic, Kirby Master, and Shiner CCC. I'm going to be hopping off and passing over to Edo Bean, coming up for A Link to the Past, which has met the incentive for 100% run.